We're going to review the Wii U games. I'm the Wiiviewer.
The little Wiiviewer.
Together, forever, forever, we're going to be reviewing Wii U games.
I think you went a little nuts on the end there.
I don't know, I'm just making up songs as I go along. So maybe we should just start with the normal intro then. What do you say?
Sure.
This is the Wiiviewer.
And the little Wiiviewer.
And we're going to review
Disney's planes.
the planes.
What?
Do you even know what I'm referencing?
Not even close.
Actually, the technical quote would be, the plane. It's from Fantasy Island.
May I ask a question that could possibly ruin your childhood?
Sure.
What is Fantasy Island?
It's about an island where fantasies come true. So this is the game of the spin-off of arguably the two worst Pixar movies out there. Cars and Cars 2.
A lot of people like cars.
Even though, oddly enough, I didn't particularly like the idea of the movie planes, I actually liked the game. I can see who they made this game for. It's just entertaining enough to keep a child's interest. And apparently mine too for a few minutes.
It kept my interest.
The story mode actually was pretty decent. Now the word story mode I should probably put in quotations because it's pretty much the most simple story you can think of. I mean, they set up the locations that you're in, but they don't really give you like some deep story you're going into. You're just like, let's get this place ready for a banquet. Let's taxi people around. It's got enough meat to it to keep a kid interested. There were 7 characters with 4 stories apiece, but a few of them were locked, so you're going to have to unlock them.
But if you do the math all together, 4 times 7 is 42.
Huh? Are you being serious right now, or is this a cry for help? By the way, the answer is 28.
I know. It was called a joke.
As you're doing the story missions, you can either get bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. Now, these things will help you level up your character so you can unlock things that you can do in the game. Like some of the other modes, like where you can free play around, or you can do some different locations to do racing or some other stuff. It was very easy to level up. But the best part is that the levels weren't long enough to make you not want to go back into them. Each level will take you 2 to 6 minutes to finish, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
What I kind of liked was the sense of freedom. A lot of the levels let you travel around pretty much wherever you wanted to go, although there was a path that you should be going to. If you want to, you can go off on the beaten path to find secret points that you can use to level up your experience, but you are free to explore in some of the modes. I mean, sometimes they lock you down to like racing, or if you've unlocked it, you can go into free play mode and just go travel through it as much as you want. But really the only thing you do in free play mode is, what? Collect the puzzle pieces?
Yeah.
The puzzle pieces make a picture. The missions were either like taxi service, complete 3 mission objectives in a level, or do a race. Or there really wasn't any other major thing you'd be doing in a level.
I found it enjoyable to go racing around places that you visited before and going and tending the crops in your hometown and also doing various things that require X amount of objective.
Now, you guys might remember a game that I did, which was for the Wii, Sky Captain, I believe it was.
Yes.
Same basic idea. When you say Sky Captain was huge in comparison,
Yes.
I mean, in comparison, it's like a huge world, and that was on the Wii. You should check that out. The maps, though, were pretty small, wouldn't you say?
Yes, which I think is a pretty big downside, because even though it feels sort of big, there's nowhere to explore.
Well, there's little crevices and there's hidden areas, but most of the time, yeah, you're right.
It doesn't feel like you should just explore it. Unlike most games where you're in a jet or plane and you're flying around an island doing X objectives.
Right, like Sky Captain.
Yeah.
Going back to that again. Apparently, I'm going to keep comparing this game to Sky Captain.
Let's review Sky Captain.
I already have! Good game. Buy it now. Wait, we're doing planes. They did change up the worlds occasionally where, like, if you're going to your hometown, there's also another hometown where there's tornadoes everywhere.
For some reason.
No, it's just a very tornado-y area.
Apparently it can hold like 5 tornadoes in like 100 yards from each other.
Or you can go to the volcano world, which would either be on fire or all with snow. So, well, they did kind of change things up a little. But the maps still did feel a little claustrophobic.
Yeah, it always felt like you were going somewhere and you had to turn around because you always hit an invisible wall.
It kind of felt, you know, what turning around and spinning around and I can't even do the Slippy voice. Do a barrel roll! can't do Slippy Foot. I can't even get my voice high enough. Do a barrel roll.
That's worse than Peach.
The controls did kind of feel like Star Fox 64, where you could turn around, do a U-turn, do a flip around, do a barrel roll.
Yeah, it did feel kind of like that game.
I think kids could easily get down these controls, no problem. And I kind of like some of the mission objectives because they weren't always, it tells you where to go. Sometimes you had to follow the lights on your plane. And that's kind of like a cool little thing that I wish they had done more of. Didn't really do that as much as I hoped they would.
I wish it was just on your plane at all time, and then you just had to use that as your mission marker instead of the in-game arrow pointing to where you have to go.
Right, I liked how it wouldn't even bring up the arrows until you got to the point where you needed to be. It kind of made it more realistic.
Air quotes, realistic.
Okay, let's talk about the other modes. There was like a free play mode, there was a racing mode, and there was a balloon pop mode. The free play mode is pretty simple and straightforward. Just fly around the small maps. And basically what you're looking for are puzzle pieces. And then there's the racing, which is a lot like Mario Kart, except it's too busy to really enjoy.
I always found that there is things happening everywhere, which is usually a good thing for a game. But for this, it just feels like it's for nothing.
It didn't feel like there was any real correct flow of how I was supposed to be flying. I had to keep looking out for rings or poles to show me which way to go. Unlike Mario, where you could tell where you have to go next, this game was kind of up in the air about that. But the one thing about the racing was there was weapons, but again, it didn't really feel like that was the type of game that really needed it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
The racing was the least interesting thing to me in this. Now, the balloon pop was really fun because they had red, blue, and yellow balloons that you had to pop for points, and they give you a certain amount of time that you have to pop the most amount of balloons.
My favorite mode was probably racing, just because it reminded me of Mario Kart, and I like Mario Kart.
But did you like the racing itself, though?
The actual, core mechanics, it was very hard to deal with, but I thought it was a fun distraction.
Okay, what did you think of Balloon Pop?
Balloon Pop was fun. It just seems weird how one player can have a ton of red balloons and the other has to go for millions of blues to even catch up.
He's talking about me, as I was cheating my way to victory. Now, this game can be played with 2 players. So you can either have a split screen, or the first player can use the gamepad as their screen, and the second player would use the TV.
Yeah, I preferred the split screen because I could watch your screen and stuff and see what you were doing at the same time.
You could do that in story mode, you could do that in Balloon Pop, you could do it in any of the modes. You can easily just jump in and out of a game, just like Lego. So Disney's playing for the Wii U, LilWiiviewer. Would you buy, rent, or skip?
I would say rent because it doesn't have enough content to have a buy, but it does have enough content to keep you occupied for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you on a rental, even though I really enjoyed this. I'm going to admit it, I'm really cheap. This is on the teeter-totter of buy because it actually has a lot that kids might want to go back to, and I can totally see kids enjoying this. This isn't one of those games where I'm like, yeah, kids might like this. This is one of these games where I know kids will love this.
I think they would.
Now, I don't know if they'll enjoy the movie, but we'll see. What do you say we go watch planes?
How about we don't?